Hi everyone and welcome to a segment of NFL football. A little bit of a cult following in this country around NFL football.
I think it's bigger than people think. I think a lot more people are football fans, and I think there are a lot more people that are interested, but they're just not willing to wake up at 2 a.m. and watch all the adverts. I think it was a bit more accessible.
Yeah, well, it's great to have ESPN back in the country, and I've been a football fan for many years, so for me it's great. And we've got we've got 4 games this weekend, and all of them should be good games, you know. And we'll try and pick a winner out of each one, and tell you what we think is going to happen.
The NFL quarterfinals, the equivalent.
Yeah. And I've checked the weather on all games, and there's no inclement weather.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. So it shouldn't be affected by. It's cold in Green Bay. It's going to be
in December.
Yeah.
The igloo.
January.
Sorry.
But let's start with Cincinnati going to Tennessee.
Yeah, Cincinnati going to Tennessee. As I did last week, I've done a little bit more homework this week.
I see.
Here's a stat for you. In the past 4 years, the home team in the divisional round of the playoffs, which is where we are now, they've won 13 of 16 matches. They're 13-3. Home team almost unbeaten in home matches of the divisional round of the playoffs over the past 4 years.
And another, I'll throw out a stat for you. Any team that is favored by 3.5, like Tennessee, are winning 64% of the time.
Okay.
So you've got, usually bettors, bookies will give 3 points for home field advantage, and you've got Tannehill, and not a spectacular quarterback, but
played wide receiver at college, I think.
Very much a meat and potatoes type
definitely
quarterback.
Definitely.
And they've got a great running game, even without
Derrick
Henry, who is back this weekend.
Is he definitely back?
He is back. Yeah, he's definitely back this weekend.
Okay.
They were only 11 yards per game worse off without Derrick Henry. So how much does he add? And my question around Derrick Henry and that Titan offense is, he's been out for quite some time, at least 7 or 8 weeks. He was a leading candidate for MVP when he went out.
Yep.
But you're out of the game for 8 weeks, and your timing on hitting holes and reading your blockers
sure
is
maybe off.
Maybe off.
Yeah. So I agree on all those points, although he is a beast. The guy stopped playing football after week 8, and he's still 9th amongst the leading rushers in the league. He hasn't played half the season. Yeah. He was on track to do some crazy stuff. He's a man mountain, 240 pounds, 6'3", tough guy to bring down, and I think he gives that offense a lot of respect.
Can you imagine him hitting a hole and playing inside center in a rugby game?
Yeah, that'd be interesting. So I think he's a guy that opposing defenses have to scheme around. I think he earns some respect, whether that's warranted or not. Like you pointed out, the offense was singing without him. I feel like if Derrick Henry doesn't feature and they have to lean on Tannehill finding A.J. Brown and Julio Jones, I would be less inclined to favor the Titans for this win. The fact that they only get 3.5 points in this game against a Bengals side that broke a record 31-year-old drought for winning a playoff game last week. Makes me feel like the bookies are not convinced that this is a done deal, even though the Titans are the number 1 seed in the AFC and they're playing at home. And Mike Vrabel, the coach of the Tennessee Titans, is 4-0 when his team comes off a bye. That includes 4-0 against the spread and 2-0 as underdogs.
So ATS and it straight up, as I say.
Look,
those are hard stats to overlook. My concern around Cincinnati, who've got a decent team, is the Joey Burrows effect,
totally.
and the inexperience in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's if Tennessee, who are 7-1, at home, but who was their lone loss? I think was to Houston.
How do you go figure?
I remember watching that game, and I was like, man, they just stunk out the joint.
Yeah.
So to me, a bad day at the office. But Tennessee doesn't lose at home very often, as their record indicates.
So how are they only getting 3.5 points on this?
Well, because they're the Rodney Dangerfield of first place of first place finishers. They get no respect. They certainly, and that just shows you how wide open the AFC is.
Yeah.
You've got any one of those teams right now in the 4 could go to the Super Bowl.
Sure. Sure.
It's a tough game to call, eh?
I mean, so I wouldn't be betting that way. Are you going in on this?
Well, I usually go on everything, you know. It's like, no, that's not true. I actually pick my bets, but you know, if I had to call this game and it had gone to my head, I'll wait till to make a bet Saturday, a couple hours before kickoff,
Right.
and I'll post my bet on my Facebook channel and
That's
my
a good
website.
call.
But you know, I'd be leaning right now towards Tennessee,
Sure.
and dominating the game from a run perspective, and keeping Joey Burrows off the field.
Yes.
You know.
So, the Titans defense are one of only 8 teams in the league to surrender more than 245 yards passing per game. And obviously, Burrows and Chase, as we spoke about last week,
Yeah.
just an amazing combination. So, if there is an opportunity anywhere for the Bengals, you think that's where it is.
Yeah, I agree. But you know, good, solid football weather conditions. You know, Tennessee at home, that crowd, they don't lose at home. It's 7-1. I'd have to lean towards Tennessee to win this game.
Yeah.
But I may be going under on the points, depending on
Yeah.
you know, because in these games, you saw it last week with the Rams. You know, they had the Rams and the Niners. No, not the Rams and Arizona.
Yeah. Arizona.
That accounted for 33 points in the first half,
Right.
and then there was 12 scored in the second half. You know, it's about ball control. When the team's up, they don't want to blow it. They become very conservative. They run the
Run the
ball.
clock,
I mean,
yeah.
I'd bet on that. And that was one of my strong bets.
Yes.
Was over 47.5. And at halftime, I was cashing my ticket in.
Right.
So
And we were low in the Cincinnati game as well. When they beat Vegas, we thought that the score was going to be way higher than that. So.
yeah, we thought they were going to air it out, but that was a good win by Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So I would say Tennessee. I would say Tennessee by -3.5. Lay the points.
Yes. I would be much more bullish about Tennessee winning this game if the bookies gave them 7 or 8 points. The fact that they're only giving them 4 makes me a bit nervous. But I feel like Tennessee's got it. I mean, if you can't win this game, this Bengals side, history against them, stats against them, stats favouring Tennessee coming off a bye.
Yeah.
I think it's a good bet.
Yeah, and like you said, 13-3 is the division is the quarterfinal records for home teams. Next up we have
So Tennessee are through to the AFC Championship game, is what we're saying.
next one is mouth-watering. Green Bay versus San Francisco.
So much to chat about.
Yeah, you know the other thing against when you look at Tennessee and Cincinnati and their record against playoff teams, this
Yes.
year's playoff teams.
Yes.
Cincinnati are 5-2.
Wow.
Yeah,
Jeez, against teams that made the playoffs.
yeah, and
That's interesting.
Tennessee are 4-3.
Really?
Yeah, so it is going to be.
I mean, that justifies a bit of that spread there.
Yeah, it's a tight call, huh? But I like experience when it comes to
No,
playoff
sure.
games.
I mean, Tennessee have got good D, can control the clock, don't make a lot of mistakes at quarterback,
yeah,
more experience at key positions.
it's whoever wins the turnover battles.
Yeah,
win
yeah,
that
yeah.
game. Yeah.
That's a good call.
So we got the Pack against San Francisco.
Right.
Green Bay are 5-1 against playoff teams.
Okay.
San Francisco 5-4, and you got it. My concern around San Francisco, the spread on this is 6.5 points.
Yes.
That's a lot of points.
Yes.
In a playoff game.
Yes.
You've got San Fran that have come in now. This is their 3rd straight road game. You know, they only qualified for the playoffs in the last game. They were
How deep can they go?
how long can the little train
Yeah,
that can keep going?
Exactly.
And 3rd road game in Green Bay. Rodgers, Green Bay coming off a bye, off a bye week,
Yeah.
a resting week. Aaron Rodgers, to me, if it wasn't for his personality, would be a shoo-in for MVP. He's just, and Green Bay are a solid team. In January, though, in January, the playoffs, I think Green Bay are 7-0.
Wow.
And scored 30 points in the last 6 out of 7 January games.
Jeez, that is insane.
Yeah.
That is insane. I'd love to see the percentages on how many of those games they played at home. And the reason I say that is...
No, that's at home. That's
is that all home? That doesn't surprise me that they can play in the cold. So it's going to be 17 degrees Fahrenheit in Green Bay, which is 10 degrees colder than the coldest day ever recorded in San Francisco history.
Add the wind chill, it's 6 degrees.
Fabulous.
So it's going to be cold.
It is. And this Jimmy Garoppolo, the quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, has never thrown a pro pass in under 40 degrees Fahrenheit temperature.
Well, the good thing for Garoppolo,
game.
the good thing for him is that his gelled hair will stay intact through this cold weather.
Right.
You won't have a hair out of place.
That is important.
It is important.
I can tell you that.
That's an incredible stat there.
And he's banged up, Garoppolo, by the way.
Yeah.
And he's questionable.
The thing that San Francisco has going for them is that they're ranked 4th in rush defense.
Yep.
4th in pass defense. And Green Bay are ranked, I think, 30th in rush defense.
Really?
Yeah.
And San Francisco can run the football. That's amazing. Okay.
So I see this again. I'll be looking at the points under.
Right.
In terms of a lot of San Francisco will want to keep Aaron Rodgers off the field. I like the under here. In terms of winners, I think that Green Bay wins it. I think that I think that they probably cover as well. There's nothing worse than a team that's not used to playing in that cold, falling behind, and the resolve of teams to come back in that sort of weather when the team that you're playing is so used to it.
Yeah.
And Green Bay fans are fanatical there. I mean, fanatical.
Absolutely fanatical. And what I will say is that in last week's wildcard round, as poor as Dallas were, and as much as the referees were penalizing them, if that game had been 15 seconds longer,
they may have snuck it.
We could have talked about the Cowboys here. The 49ers got in, they just got into the divisional round. But what I will say is this, that Aaron Rodgers has played the 49ers 3 times in the playoffs and has never beaten them.
Yeah.
So some records have to fall this weekend. I'm with you. I think Green Bay is the better bet. A-Rod is the MVP in my eyes, and playing at home in the igloo with the Californians coming across, I think they take it.
And South Africans have no idea what 6-degree temperatures feel like.
Well, I must admit, I haven't been in anything that cold before, so.
Yeah. Well, my coldest day in university in Canada was minus 54 degrees.
You went to class.
No, I didn't.
That's how bad the social scene is there. You actually still go to school.
Ottawa was a great university town, or it was when I was growing up.
Okay.
No, it was. I slept in my bed that night in a snowsuit. it was freezing. Man.
Wow. Okay. Fantastic.
And you've also with San Fran, you got Bosa still not past the concussion protocol.
Okay. So is Bosa out?
No.
Oh, I was going to say
he'll be a
game day decision.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
look, they've got some cool pieces in San Francisco. You've spoken about their defense, which is great.
Yeah.
There are questions at quarterback, but I think it's more about who the Packers are and what they can do with A-Rod. I mean, we've seen that guy win games from nowhere. So.
Yeah, and they're mongrel. But San Francisco, I mean, geez.
Yeah.
Nothing bonds a team like the run that they're on,
Right.
But
interesting, the 49ers coach Kyle Shanahan and the Packers coach Matt LaFleur used to coach together at Washington. So they know each other real well. They know each other's philosophies.
Yeah.
It'd be quite cool to see a bit of a sort of a battle within a battle there.
Yeah. No, it's going to be an intriguing game, isn't it?
Packers for the win.
Packers for the win.
So, home side again, right?
But 6.5 points, a lot of points.
That is a lot.
It's, I just get the feeling that if Green Bay get on top early, then San Fran's going to become one-dimensional with Garoppolo passing, and with him banged up in that weather, like you said, he hasn't thrown in those temperatures. You could see this game get ugly very quickly. That's why it may be a good one to avoid in terms of the 6.5.
Okay.
Sorry. Maybe it may be a blowout. Maybe I don't know, man. It's just.
I'm pretty bullish about the Packers beating that spread. I've got to be honest, Kev.
Are you?
Yeah, very much so. I don't see how the 49ers. Yeah, I don't see how the 49ers are going to, do more damage to Green Bay's defense than A-Rod will do to theirs?
Well, you know, if the rushing gets going, and you know, like Green Bay's 30th in rush defense,
Yes.
so not good against the rush.
Yeah.
And they'd start dominating the clock and keep Aaron Rodgers off the field.
Sure.
You know, that can be frustrating.
Sure.
And cause Rodgers to press. But I mean, he's looked immaculate most of the season. You know.
Mm.
And I know that what was the record? 13-4.
Yep.
I mean, one of those losses was against Kansas City with a second string quarterback.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is your call? Where are you going with this one? What do you say?
I got a feeling that you know, my gut feel is that Green Bay are going to blow them out.
Yeah, I think that's a good call.
Yeah.
I think that's a good call. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, playoffs are playoffs. You never really know. That's why we're all tuning in to watch. That's the point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Tampa Bay versus the Rams.
Old Man River, can he do it again?
Old Man River, he just keeps rolling along.
Oh, I love it. It's fabulous.
You gave me a stat earlier on off air. Repeat that. It's quite a.
Tom Brady's 44 makes him older than the head coaches of the 3 other NFC teams. Oh, sorry, not 3 other NFC teams. It's Sean McVay. That's right, 3 other NFC teams.
Yeah.
Sean McVay, 35 years old. Kyle Shanahan, 42. Matt LaFleur, 42. Tom Brady's older than the other NFC team coaches.
Then 75% of the coaches left in the NFC playoffs.
Exactly.
That's crazy. Man. That's a crazy stat.
He got his driver's license for those coaches, man. That's got to count for something.
It does. Respect your elders. I mean,
Exactly.
Which I think that will be the case. Tampa Bay, though, 8-1 at home this year. I mean, so this, I think the point spread on this is around 2.5 points.
Yeah.
Bookies, very close call.
Why are they so nervous about all of these games? It's making me nervous.
Well, because I mean, 8-1, but who was the one loss against?
Right.
The Rams.
Right.
You know, the Rams beat them 34-24, I think.
That's right. Yeah. Week 3.
Week 3.
Matty Stafford, 343 yards and 4 touchdowns in that game.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, that Rams team is loaded. If you were playing Madden, you'd think you're going to win the Super Bowl with that team. But the reality is that Rams team has lost 5 games this year, which is only 1 more than the Buccaneers. But Stafford just clinched his first ever playoff win. That's fantastic for him.
Yeah.
He is a guy that if he gets on a roll, he'd be tough to stop. And they do have this awesome defense with Aaron Donald. You mentioned Von Miller, Jalen Ramsey. They've got some real pieces on that defense. But, I mean, how do you bet against playoff Tom Brady?
Well, you do for a couple of reasons. I think in this one is the injuries to that team. They're not as deep in terms of the wide receiving core. Obviously, they've got injuries there.
Lost Chris Godwin, yeah.
And I would rate that the Rams defense is better than Tampa Bay's defense.
Sure. Okay. I mean, it's debatable. It's certainly not something where you go, that's outlandish.
No, I mean like you say, the piece we said last week, and look at how they dismantled Arizona.
Yeah.
You know, that was one we got right. I said that Arizona trending the wrong way,
Yes.
Rams trending the right way.
Yeah.
And when you look at it, I mean, it's hard to bet against the GOAT. I mean, Tampa Bay are 5-1 against playoff teams this year. The Rams are 3-5. That tells a story, but the injuries to Tampa Bay are a little bit concerning for me.
Yes, no, I appreciate that. That's a fair call. What I would say is that Tom Brady won 6 Super Bowls with a receiving core that aside from Randy Moss and Gronk, and maybe Jules Edelman, weren't too many guys there worth a mention. Last week, Tom Brady set the league season record by getting rid of the ball in 2.17 seconds.
Yeah.
So you got Von Miller and Aaron Donald chasing him down, but if Old Man Rivers throwing that ball real quickly, they're a non-factor.
There's nothing old about him, is there?
I mean, not really, no. He's amazing. I mean, I don't know how he's doing what he's doing.
I mean, if he could go into any other profession now, if I was him, I'd go into sperm donor. I mean, the guy there should be a whole symposium studying this guy.
I mean, maybe the fact that he hasn't done that is, we should be suspicious.
Well, I know he's into NFTs and all that stuff, but
Right.
But it's hard to bet against the GOAT.
Yeah, I've got to go with Tampa Bay. I think Levante David, Devin White in the linebacking core of Tampa Bay, Antoine Winfield, that front seven of theirs is just kick ass, and Brady has won with fewer pieces on offense before, and they're at home. I don't know. I like the Bucks to win this one. But again, the bookies, 3 points.
2.5.
Yeah.
The bet I like in this one is the over 47.5. I just do. Both teams are decent defensively, but they can both light it up too.
Yeah. Well, Stafford's going to go down throwing, so whether that's interceptions or not, point is the scoreboard's going to get lit up.
Yeah. So my bet there is to just watch a game, bet the over 47.5 for a couple grand.
That's nice.
And just enjoy it.
That is nice.
That is nice. Either way, I mean, 2 grand is not a lot of money. The grand scheme of life.
That is very nice.
And watch. I just cannot put money against Tom Brady.
Yeah. I mean, at 1 year, we're going to be wrong. But I feel like for the first 5 Super Bowls...
That'll be the year he's in a Zimmer frame with the ball hooked to the thing, going
just
back.
Just a head in a jar.
Yeah, when he gets it out in 3 seconds.
He's like 5th for passer rating.
Yeah.
We told you!
He'll still throw for 2,500 yards that season.
Totally.
Shoot it out of his mouth. Like a blowgun.
Fabulous. It'll still spiral.
And look, if you tackle him on the ground and he's just ahead, it's going to be a penalty.
That's a penalty flag every time.
Yeah. So it's hard to bet against him.
Yeah.
He's the GOAT.
Exactly.
And next up, me versus you, my Kansas City. I've been a fan of the Chiefs since '83.
You beat me there, man.
Yeah. And this one's the closest. The bookies are having a hard time separating this.
I think we're going to agree on this one.
Let's see. You guys came into Kansas City and dismantled us. Was it 38-20?
Yeah, something like that. What was it? I've got it written down here somewhere. Where are we? Buffalo? It's all squiggly. 38-20, that's right. At Arrowhead in October.
Yeah, but that was early, hey? And that was when Mahomes was throwing more picks than someone working on a chain gang. It was 2 picks in that game.
That's right. And they didn't sack Josh Allen once in that game.
Yeah, the thing that can be said for this is that the Kansas City defense that played against that Josh Allen Bills team, who was immaculate. He had everything went right for him. He was perfect in that game. And I think the Buffalo were way more motivated than the Kansas City, because Kansas City blew out Buffalo in the playoff game the season before after falling behind by a mountain.
That is right.
So
that is right.
They had a chip on their shoulder.
Yes, they did.
Nice weather in Arrowhead, milder than normal. 2% chance of rain, which means 98% no rain.
No rain, yeah.
Small 10 mile an hour wind. You could see the scoreboard being lit up in this game as well. But my God, what a game.
I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. I hope it lives up to the billing. Chiefs are 10-1 since week 8. Bills on a 5-game winning streak.
Yeah.
For me, the Bills just came off playing the perfect game. The defense was on song. Josh Allen could literally close his eyes, throw the ball if somebody was going to come down with it. I feel like we played our best possible game last week.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we can back it up again. We're coming up against a team that are somehow, there's question marks about them, even though they went to the Super Bowl last year and are on this.
And won it the year before.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's this thing like, Kansas City are not. It's almost like the Tom Brady thing. Like,
Kansas City are, I think, 26th in yards allowed per game. Like yards per play.
Yes.
The defense, and I think a lot of that has to do with the hangover and legacies of the first 8 games.
Spot on.
Because they've been a completely different team, other than the Cincinnati game, where they gave up over 30 points and lost to Cincinnati after blowing a 2-touchdown lead. It's a different defense. Adding a couple small pieces to it has certainly helped.
Yeah.
And from my bet of the week is Kansas City at 1.84 straight up to win this game.
I hate to say it, but I agree with you. I think Kansas City wins this game. I don't feel like Buffalo can do that again. I feel like Kansas City have still got something in the tank, and I feel like they're finding their best form at just the right time. I don't think it's possible for the Bills to come into this game with anything other than a little bit of overconfidence after just absolutely tearing it up against the Patriots last week. And for whatever they say, in Buffalo, to beat the Patriots in the playoffs, Bill Belichick, there's got to be some sort of champagne hangover from that. I mean, that's got to have been a milestone for a lot of the guys in this team. Now you've got to pick yourself up against a team that has real Super Bowl credentials.
Yeah. And look, if 3 points is a home field advantage, then at Arrowhead it's about a 5 point.
Yeah, with the noise.
Because that noise
Yeah,
is, other than Seattle, I don't know, I think they're probably the two loudest stadiums, crowds in
In the league, definitely.
in the league.
Definitely.
And,
Yeah.
if Kansas City's defense holds true to what they've done in 8 out of the last 9 games,
Yes.
what Kansas City has done and altered well is taking what defenses give them, whereas Mahomes was in the first 7 games seemed to be pressing
Exactly.
and doing stuff that was so uncommon and unnatural to him. A few unlucky tips and taps
Yes.
for interceptions.
Yeah.
But they, like I said last week, Dallaire had fumbleitis, Tyreek Hill had tipitis,
Yeah.
and Mahomes had interceptionitis. I mean, that was. If not for that,
Yeah,
then
those are
Kansas
good
City would have had the best record in football.
Yeah, I think those are all fair calls. I just think Patty Mahomes, Tyreek Hill's finding some form. Kelsey uncoverable last week. The defense not getting the respect that they deserve at home. Bills coming off a ginormous win and arguably their best performance under Sean McDermott.
Yeah.
I'm smelling a Kansas City win here, unfortunately, and I really hope I'm super wrong on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna be having $3,000 on Kansas City straight up. It could be a great game.
Yeah.
Look
Either
forward
way,
to it.
I think
Yeah.
it's going to be a real good. I don't think it'll be a shootout, but I think it'll be a thriller.
Yeah, but my best bet of the weekend, Kansas City straight up, 1.84.
5 stars.
5 stars. Yeah. Cheers, man.
Nice one, Kim.
Cool.
Ciao.